have Escambia and Washington to myself, and I share part of Mobile with several others, and share Baldwin with Senator Pittman.
Pat went to Mobile some, didn't you?
He did. It's the same
thing. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, let me ask this question. I asked Senator Brubaker on last week about reapportionment. He says y'all have not seen the maps yet.
We hadn't. I hadn't.
He said he had not, and he's quite straightforward and honest. I think Brubaker's a really honest guy.
Yeah.
He said he had not seen those lines, and what do you pretend? What do you see happening? Are they going to try to put counties back together in your area? Will you go in and have 8 counties, or what do you hear is happening throughout the state and throughout your area?
Well, there's so many different angles you have to look at something like reapportionment, and it's viewed as everybody. I think people back home in our districts as something that's strictly political, and partisan at that, and it is some of that, but there's a lot of criteria that has to be met under the law and under the Constitution, because whatever's drawn and approved by the legislature has to be approved by ultimately the Justice Department.
Yeah.
As you know, so so we have 7 minority Democratic districts, or not Democratic districts, but 7 districts that are held by Black Democrats right now.
And there are 5 white Democrats.
That's right.
You and Roger Bedford.
And Tammy Irons, and Jerry Felding, and Billy Beasley.
That's right.
The 5 of us.
Okay. Well, now, when you get above Mobile, Washington, Escambia, Choctaw, Clark, Monroe, and Conecuh would be Democratic counties. There wouldn't be a move for Republicans to try to move into those areas, would they? They would want to corral Democratic voters into those counties, wouldn't you think?
Well, if you poll my district and just ask a simple question, if you must consider yourself either a Democrat or Republican, my district is more Republican now and has been since I've been in the Senate. It is. And so there's more people that associate themselves with the Republican Party in my district now than they do the Democratic Party.
What about Escambia would be reflective of that, wouldn't it? So Escambia.
Yeah, Escambia County is viewed as more of a.
It'll vote Republican for governor.
All their local officials are
Democrat
for the most part. There's one, the probate judge was appointed, who's a Republican. She's running for re-election this year, and there's a couple school board members that are Republicans. So.
Mark, I had in my House district where I served 16 years. One of the things that people asked me was the hardest thing that I did. It was constituent work. People don't realize that are watching from urban areas, but the average person in an urban area does not really know who their state senator or representative is. They may know Dick Brubaker is a state senator, or Greg Wren's a representative or something, but they're not sure exactly, but they know who you are in those counties. I mean, and you've got a lot of constituent work. And when you, especially if you worked hard to get elected your first time, and you meet a lot of people, and like you are in your county, where people really know your family, and they know you. I'd get a call, say, I knew your great-granddaddy, and, I want you to help me with this and that. And I would have so much I'd have, first of all, they'd think I was in Congress, so they'd want me to find their Social Security check if it was lost. Then they might think I was on the city council. If a dog was barking and the garbage wasn't picked up on time, I'd get that call. And I'd get calls about the roads, or you get the same thing.
I've received all those calls.
The constituent thing is the biggest thing. For rural legislators, people watching this show who live in Montgomery or Otago or something don't realize that when you come from a rural area, like you come from, you're everything to them. You're their mayor, you're their congressman, you're their, they may occasionally get it right that you're a state legislator.
Well, shortly after I got elected, I remember a conversation that I had just at a grocery store, convenience store, what have you. It was a man that had an issue with his Social Security check or something to do with his check, and I told him, even though I was offering to contact Joe Bonner, to contact Senator Sessions or Shelby for him, he wanted me to do it for him. He wanted me to take care of his issue for him, and I learned quick then that when you have a question posed to you like that, they don't want to hear about somebody else. I just need to
I did the same
tell
thing,
them you
Mark.
can help them and go call who can if
That's
you can't.
exactly what I do. I'd say thank you. I'd call the city council and say, I wouldn't even tell them who the city council was. I'd say, you need to pick up the garbage on Orange Street. You know, this garbage has not been picked up on Joe Smith's house, or the dogs are barking over there, you know, too much. Or I'd call them the city, and I had a person in the congressman's office. I would just call and say, this person lives at Route 1 and Lucia or something, and it needs to have something happen to their Social Security.
And you know, you get phone calls like that enough, you don't have to get many of them, and you realize that, you know, we're all kind of put under the same umbrella, and as far as the way we're viewed, and that's just our purpose is to help people, and no matter what the issue is, that's what we're going to get phone calls for.
I'll tell you a funny one. You may like this one. You may have already gotten this, but I came in a different era, and the guy preceding me I'd been close to, like you were to Pat Lindsay. He'd been somewhat my mentor. He'd been representative for about 28 years. And back in those old days, back in the 50s, they really could do things to help people. They could call up and get somebody a job, or, you know, get somebody a job with the highway department who needed a job or something. But undoubtedly, he had helped people fix tickets or something. And they assumed that since I was Mr. Gardner's mentor, that I was going to take that role. Well, it got to be that every Saturday night, my phone started ringing about 7 o'clock, because every drunk in my county thought I could get them out of jail. They thought I was going to go down to the courthouse or wherever they were in jail and sign their warrant or get them out of jail. And finally, I had to quit answering my phone on Saturday night.
Your predecessor didn't send out a press release about helping those people.
I don't know what it was, but I got the drunk calls. I would get drunk saying, get me out of jail. And I would have, I got one, actually one night, I was so tired, and I told my wife, I said, you know, we got to quit answering the phone. I quit answering the phone on Saturday night. I'd answer the phone all week long. I said, I'm just not going to take the drunk calls on Saturday night. But prior to making that decision, old guy called me. He'd be started early. It was about 6 o'clock on Saturday, about dusk. And he was calling me from the Holiday Inn bar. And he was an older guy. He said, Steve, this is old so-and-so. I'm out here at the Holiday Inn bar. And, you know, I know you knew your granddaddy. I know, Miss Son, you knew your daddy. And I went to school with your mom and daddy. And we all voted for you out here. I know. I appreciate that. Well, Steve, when you get back to Montgomery, I want you to do something for me. These young people are playing the music so loud out here at the Holiday Inn bar. I want you to pass a law to stop the decibel level on music at the Holiday Inn bar. At least I gave him credit if he had the right.
That's right.
It wasn't. He had the right office.
That's
you know,
right.
At least he knew I went to Montgomery, and that I was supposed to, you know, pass laws in Montgomery. Not that I was. I know you get people ask you, why aren't you in Washington? Don't you get that?
Well, I get a lot of phone calls that think I am in Washington or go to Washington. You know, it's not too many days pass that you don't run into somebody that asks how's Washington or when you're going back to Washington. And thankfully, I'm able to tell them that I don't have any plans in the near future to be going.
The thing different, Mark, is in getting back to current events. The difference in Washington and Montgomery is, viewers, that Washington can just print money. They don't have to. They don't have to balance their budget. Marc Keahey and the state senate has got to have balanced their budget, and they've got their plate full. I use a saying, and I use it in my column: the chickens have come home to roost, because for 3 or 4 years there's been federal stimulus money.
That's right.
It's propped the general fund budget up. You've had, you know, Governor Riley used all the rainy day funds. You look at a general fund budget that is about 24% below this current year's thing that y'all got to work on. And Governor Bentley did not really give any real concrete solutions, although you got to give him credit. He did come up with the concept of a unified budget, but he got no takers on that, Mark. He just didn't see any movement on that area to combine the education and general fund to one budget. I guess I'm asking you a long, loaded question in that, you know, as a Democrat legislator, we have to acknowledge the fact that whether you're Democrat or Republican, the general fund is broke.